real quick before I start this video, I just want to say I have a Discord server now. I'm still working on getting everything set up, but for the most part, I think I got everything figured out. I'm just kind of struggling with getting some of the bots to work because I don't know how to work any of them. But yeah, if you want to join it, I'm going to be putting the link with my other social links. I think it's going to be the last one on there. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go yap about my favorite character duo now. So this video was originally going to be me ranking ranpoe ships like I did with the Dazai ones, but I wrote so much for ranpoe and poe. I haven't even started on the other like 10 or 11 ships that I have planned for that video, but I wrote so much for ranpoe and poe that I low-key just wanted to make it its own video, and then whenever I make the ranpoe ship video, I'm just going to briefly analyze them because I went in full detail on this too. I wasn't even planning to write this much, I was just yapping. But yeah, anyway, we're doing another ship analysis, I guess. So here's me yapping about ranpoe and poe. Ranpoe is genuinely my favorite character duo of all time, so now's my time to shine. I think they're so adorable and have such silly interactions. Like, they're literally the best. ranpoe and poe met 6 years before the main timeline of Bungo Stray Dogs, I think. They competed to see who is the best detective, and well, obviously ranpoe won because he's the best. But after that, poe has been obsessing over him and plotting his revenge, and spent 6 years writing a book to trap him in for the next time they saw each other. I think he also did this to try to get closer to ranpoe too, because ranpoe genuinely caught his interest. Poe's entire character has been centered around ranpoe. Without ranpoe being in the series, or just the interaction between the two 6 years ago, I don't think poe would even be in the series at all. His entire character development is based around his interactions with ranpoe. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think we see anything of poe by himself other than like 1 or 2 scenes that are like very short. And it's been made pretty damn clear that poe is very obsessed with ranpoe. Like I said, he spent years trying to basically prove that he's better than him, but you know, no one's better than ranpoe, and defeat him in a way, and that's literally all he's cared about since ranpoe beat him in that little competition 6 years ago. And something I love about their relationship is that ranpoe usually just doesn't seem to care about anyone, but with poe, he is like genuinely willing to give him his attention. ranpoe seems to genuinely have interest in giving poe his attention too. Like I said earlier, ranpoe just doesn't really care about anyone and just thinks he's better than everyone else, because he is. But with poe, he treats him as his equal, even though he knows he's smarter and better. He literally even told poe that he was the only detective who has ever been able to give him chills, and was clearly impressed by poe and his abilities and intelligence. And poe admires ranpoe and how smart he is too, but like at the same time is jealous of him and claims that he hates him because of this, and gets all defensive whenever people think he likes him. For example, in one scene, somebody asked if he was ranpoe's fan, and he got all defensive. He's like, no, he's my rival. Rival, you say? Anyway, I say poe is jealous because to him, he will always just be the second best compared to ranpoe. I also feel like he almost seeks validation from ranpoe in a way too. Hear me out. In scenes where ranpoe gives poe his attention or compliments him or anything, he seems to get some sort of validation out of it because he knows ranpoe is better and will always be better, and he's like, whoa, the person that I've been looking up to and want to be like for all these years is giving me attention and complimenting me. That's crazy. They both seem to genuinely love being around each other too. Every time poe is with ranpoe, he seems to be genuinely happy, and I've noticed that a lot of his interactions with ranpoe, he seems a lot happier and sillier, especially after getting closer with ranpoe. Also, a small detail that I want to point out too, poe seems to trust ranpoe with Carl. It's shown that poe is very protective over Carl and doesn't want anyone around him, or doesn't even like it when Carl wanders off on his own. For example, there's a scene in Bungo Stray Dogs 1 where Carl, I guess, wanders off and Dazai finds him, and I think he thought he was a dog or something, and then poe finds him. He's like, oh, Carl, please never run away from me again. I was so worried. So yeah, poe worries about Carl a lot and is very protective of him. And I feel like the fact that Poe lets ranpoe hold Carl or let Carl sit on his shoulders and all this says a lot about how much he trusts ranpoe. He probably trusts ranpoe more than anyone else, actually, now that I think about it, because if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think he's even let anyone else actually hold Carl. And something that I think is misunderstood about ranpoe and Poe's relationship that I also want to point out is that a lot of the fandom likes to make ranpoe seem like the healthiest ship in BSD, which I personally don't fully believe. I do believe they're healthier than most BSD ships because, let's be real, it's BSD. I don't think any ship in BSD is going to be 100% healthy. And yeah, ranpoe is a healthier ship compared to others, but healthier doesn't mean it's 100% healthy. But hey, at least ranpoe and Poe canonically get along and actually like each other and don't go the entire series trying to kill each other. Kinda. And I see a lot of ranpoe shippers mischaracterizing ranpoe and Poe to fit how they want to see the ship, but in reality, ranpoe does have its toxic traits like almost every single other ship does, no matter what the ship, fandom, whatever is. For example, Poe was obsessed with ranpoe and stalked him for years, and at first, ranpoe was low-key kind of weirded out by Poe's obsession with him. And being realistic, Poe's obsession with ranpoe was really weird and unhealthy. I mean, broski cut off all his friends, family to join the guild so that he could see ranpoe again, not even knowing if ranpoe remembered him. And it's also shown that he will get jealous if he sees anyone else who is close with ranpoe. He also seems to be willing to do anything to get ranpoe's attention. Ranpoe also seems to purposefully feed into Poe's obsession as a way to manipulate him. Ranpoe knows that Poe is obsessed with him, and he'll take advantage of that by using him for his ability. Anytime that ranpoe is in danger, he will get himself out of danger by using Poe's ability and hiding in one of his books. I could be wrong about this, but I'm also pretty sure that Poe has even called ranpoe out about him using him for his ability. Ranpoe also seems to not really want to hear about anything that Poe has to say either. To be fair, that's just ranpoe being ranpoe, and he's like that with almost everyone. But some examples that I mean by this for ranpoe and Poe is that there's a scene where Poe tried explaining something to ranpoe, and ranpoe just cuts him off, and he's like, yeah, no, I'd rather go play with the kids in my neighborhood. And another scene where Poe tried to comfort ranpoe and tell him to not be too hard on himself, and ranpoe just headbutts Poe in the face and then goes on about his own thing. Like I said, it's not really the most toxic ship in BSD, but ranpoe and Poe definitely have their own toxic traits that a lot of people often ignore, since it's, I guess, one of the healthier ships compared to almost all other BSD ships. I love that their dynamic is written like this though, low-key. When you look at them at first, they seem to have this cute, healthy relationship, but while looking more into their characters and their dynamic and all this, you see more of their toxic traits and that their relationship isn't really as healthy as the fandom likes to make it seem to be. Like I said, they're literally my favorite fictional character duo ever, but I personally don't see them as anything more than a platonic best friend duo. I can understand why people do ship them, and I do see the potential that they have as a romantic ship, but it just isn't for me. I just personally think they give off more best friend energy than anything else. And I loved the scene where ranpoe told Poe that he didn't really seem like the type to have many friends, because that's like definitely the type of insult joke me and my best friend would make to each other. Also, a personal headcanon that I have for ranpoe is that he just doesn't really care for romance or anything. So low-key, I don't really have a ship that I like fully ship for ranpoe. I think the closest one I have is with Dazai. That's like the only one I can somewhat see in a romantic view, but even then, I love them as a platonic duo way more. The idea of ranpoe and Poe being a romantic ship is really cute though, and like I said, I see why people would ship it. I'm just a hater on any ship that isn't either Odango, Seizai, Bisakoku, or almost every single non-canon ship. So I do love their character dynamic, and I really hope we get more of them in the future. Also, please nobody come after me because I don't ship ranpoe, because please remember that at the end of the day, they really are canonically a platonic duo, as most ships in anything are. But yeah, that's all I really have to say on analyzing their character dynamic, and I will be making the video of me ranking ranpo ships soon. But yeah, anyway, I think that's it.